Hello friends, now let's talk about Bangladesh. Bangladesh was part of Bharat, India before 1947 when the British were there, and has been interconnected for ages, millennium. Now, strengths are that they have a growing economy. The growth rates have been quite good. They are rich in textiles and garments. That is their traditional strength also. Muslin of Dhaka, the capital, used to be known worldwide that a full sari length could go through a ring, a finger ring. Population is young. Weaknesses are infrastructure is relatively poor. There is a kind of corruption there. Limited economic diversification is there. So textile becomes a major industry, and then dependence on remittances is there. Now, what are the opportunities to increase the foreign investment? India has done a lot for them, including setting up plants in Indian states like Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, where the coal availability is there to supply the electricity to them. So the investment is of the Indian party, for example, of Adani's. Then we have various threats. Climate change is one of them because of the topography of Bangladesh. Natural disasters do happen, tornadoes do happen, heavy rains do happen, and regional instability is there. Now, this was till Sheikh Hasina was the Prime Minister, daughter of the founder of the nation, Mr. Mujib Rahman, 1971, and who had revolted against the military-led government of Pakistan to do their own things. So let's sum it up that there are good points and not so good points. India was being quite helpful, but then Sheikh Hasina's government was pushed out, and Mr. Muhammad Yunus has become the advisor to the government, and there is military, and there is a tension between them also, and the people who had taken out possessions, etc., against Sheikh Hasina, and are now disappointed. So there is a lot of population of young people. The energy is not fully utilized, and somehow something can be done. Now, a new element has been thrown into the game that Muhammad Yunus went to China and claimed that the northeast of India, the 7 states, did not have any access to Bay of Bengal. So a new route is being found out by Indian government. It's kind of being financed now through Burma, so that this kind of constraint does not occur. He said something also about Bangladesh being the lord of the Indian Ocean, which is a strange statement. So the tension has been unnecessarily created between Bangladesh and India, because Sheikh Hasina is also kind of, I think she's in India. But so what? If she has been pushed out, she has to stay somewhere. So he prefers India. So let her stay in India. But the political system there says something else. Okay, Nepal, strengths, very rich in hydropower potential, and they can sell a lot of electricity to the neighbors actually. But again, some politics comes up. They are very close to India, the only nation which has Hinduism as the religion, official religion. And however, the relationship with Japan, I should say China, is transactional. If they see more advantage from China, then they turn their politics towards China. So the Communist Party is still there, and they keep on trying to work one against the other. But if they just concentrate on their pluses, that is rich hydropower potential, beautiful mountains, therefore tourism is there, but it can be 100 times what it is now if it is organized differently. One interesting thing is there that from Nepal, the Nepalese soldiers used to be there in the British Indian Army. They were also there in Singapore. They were also there in Special Guard of the Queen in London. And they are also there now in Saudi Arabia, etc. So they are professional soldiers, not really mercenaries in the sense of hire a gun, but they do this because the opportunities are limited, and they are good, hardy people, And this happens, and so their repatriations primarily are from these mercenary soldiers. The opportunities are growing hydropower sector, yes. Increase the tourism, we just discussed it. Trade with India and China, balance it, do it. India has been very nice to have given them most favored nation treatment. It is practically a free trade area with Nepal as well as Bhutan. So now let's talk about Bhutan. Strengths are unique culture, rich in hydropower potential again, strategic location, very, very conscious about the climate. It is embedded in their thought processes, and they even don't measure gross domestic product as all other countries do, but they measure gross domestic happiness, GDH. The pollution is very small. They have lots of credits, carbon credits. They of course now have only EVs. Now weaknesses are limited economic diversification. There is something of from fruits, some squashes and something like that made, honey and so on, but not diversified enough and not large enough. Dependence on India is there, and that's why the tension again comes when they try to go closer to China, because China is also a neighbor for them. Vulnerability to climate change, yes, is there, and they have to keep on studying it. They should, and that is where they require India more, because India has lots of research institutes which study Himalayan climate, Himalayan systems. So opportunities are growing tourism sectors, fantastic place to visit, pollution free, increasing hydropower exports. India is willing to buy the electricity, even invest. Sustainable development. Threats, climate change again, regional instability, tension between India and China affecting them, and the economic vulnerability. Dependence on India is quite high, and they have a free trade agreement with India. Now we look at Myanmar also. Strengths are rich in natural resources, strategic location, growing economy. Weaknesses, conflict and instability, again between military and non-military, and this goes on and doesn't get sorted out, and there are groups like Rohingyas, which are kind of rebel groups, which create problems with India in terms of their spillover and so on. They have infrastructure challenge therefore, and there is an element of corruption. Now, opportunities are increasing foreign investment, growing services sector, trade with ASEAN and Asia, besides India. So there is nothing wrong with competition between India and ASEAN and China in regions like this, because Myanmar kind of becomes part of the ASEAN also as a tail. Now threats are regional instability, conflicts, global economic trends. So global economic trends they cannot do much about, they can only understand it. But regional instability and conflict is in their hand. The moment this improves, their economies and their gross national happiness, as Bhutan measures, will also increase. Now let's look at Afghanistan. Strength is resource rich. Rare minerals, fruits, what we call dry fruits like almonds and walnuts and pistachios and so on and so forth. Strategic location again, touching Iran on one side, Central Asia on the other, through that, and Russia then close by, and then of course go to Europe if things are all right. Now coming to the Chabar port, if they do Chabar port, then they are not landlocked anymore, and India and Iran are now very keen that Chabar port becomes active. Weaknesses are conflict and instability again. It is still a tribal type of setup there. Infrastructure challenges are there and corruption elements are there. Opportunities, increasing foreign investment, growing mining sector. As I said, rare earth minerals suddenly has become more and more important, or at least come to the attention of people. Regional trade, and trade with India happens, but it cannot happen via Pakistan because Pakistan doesn't allow it. Hence, it goes through very circuitous routes and all that. So, India, for the first time, sent a shipment of 50,000 tons of wheat via the Chabar port a few months ago, when there was a kind of shortage situation in Afghanistan for grains. Statistical picture of joint South Asian countries then. Combined GDP is over 5 trillion. Population is over 1.8 billion. Young population is over 50% of the population, the biggest in the world. 50% of the population is under the age of 25, which means close to a billion people, 0.9. This is a fantastic power which can create revolutions or it can create wonderful economic resurgence. Exports, textiles, garments, agriculture products, IT services. Imports, machinery, electronics, petroleum products, chemicals. Now, in one sense, if India expands in technology, the other nations are there to benefit from it. But there is a jealousy which kind of comes into it, or there is some element of feeling nice about dealing with an outside company like a German company or an American company or a Chinese company or something, and the products of India get kind of lower priority. For example, agriculture pumps. India makes the largest number of agriculture pumps in the world. It makes the largest number of tractors in the world. It makes the largest number of harvesters in the world, right? And they can take on to the mechanization using the Indian equipment because generally the climate conditions and other conditions, soil conditions are similar. Exports we already talked about. So now joint economic potential is there, trade and investment. Increased regional trade and investment can drive growth and development. Now rather than Nepal or Bhutan going and borrowing loans from World Bank, India can invest into a hydroelectric power plant, share the electricity, and that electricity which India takes is the payment for the loan. It can be a win-win situation. What comes into it? Only politics, nothing else. Politics in the sense, not in the bad sense of the word, but push and pull, not looking at the advantage to the people. Now then some people will start talking about climatologists, the dams are good, no good and all that. Of course you can study it. There are engineers who have built dams for thousands of years, and in our subcontinent, Bhakra Dam, Hirakund Dam, etc., etc. None of them have collapsed. None of them have done any harm to the surroundings and all that. And there is plenty of engineering manpower and skills available to build dams in a proper fashion. And of course, one can now go for better turbines, more efficient turbines, more productive turbines, and make your electricity cost lower. Once you make your electricity cost lower, your industry can progress well. We have seen in Germany, once their electricity cost has gone up, that their industrial production has gone down. Then renewable energy. South Asia has significant potential for renewable energy, whether deserts on one side or the mountains on the other. So both for solar and wind power, this is the ideal place in the world to do it. And it is happening also. India is one of the leading solar power producers, if I'm not saying number one or number two, but leading, let's say, because more and more projects can come, and China also has a policy to go into it, and China may go ahead, but that doesn't matter. We should just make a resolve in South Asia to go for as much solar and wind as it is possible. Challenges and opportunities. And remember, once you look at the overall market and it gets added up, your production costs go down, right? Then you start competing with China on volume and on prices. And then why should people import things from China? Because obviously importing from outside is a problem, parts, etc., supply chain issues. Now, challenges and opportunities. Regional cooperation. Increased regional cooperation and integration can drive growth and stability. Conflict and instability can hinder growth and development. Climate change. South Asia is highly vulnerable to climate change and its impacts. So now, by analyzing the SWOT, we can better understand the joint economic potential and facing challenges of South Asian countries. Now, one thing is there. When I kind of made this script a couple of months ago, Operation Sindoor was not there. Sheikh Hasina was still in power. Our issues with Bangladesh had not come up. Our issues with Nepal had not come up. So things can change, and it depends on statesmen, leadership, political leadership to put it together. So SAARC organization was set up for that purpose, but it has been kind of non-starter, except there is a SAARC university now in Delhi, where there are special advantages for students coming from SAR countries, and they are doing good research also now. Thank you very much.